mark.
Angels remain to be an extreme phenomenon. Their origin, purpose, role, and appearance seems to always be misrepresented. In this series, we will attempt to demystify the workings of God's realm of supernatural personal beings. What we will share is from a biblical perspective revealed in the Hebrew Tanakh and the Christian Gospel, which is also known as the New Testament. Biblical text provides perspective of the supernatural world and humanity's awareness of it, separating truth from misinformation, false depiction, and man-made fantasies. Genesis 1 says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." God also created all living creatures, known and unknown to us. This includes angels. Colossians 1:16 says, "For by him all things were created, in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things were created through him and for him." Now let's get some understanding. The term angel is derived from the Greek word angelos, which is the equivalent of the Hebrew word malach, meaning messenger, or a divine messenger of God. Angels are known as God's holy beings and his heavenly host. Heavenly hosts are considered creatures who dwell in his presence. One of God's names is Lord of Hosts. In Hebrew, it is Yahweh Sabaoth, meaning Lord of the heavenly armies, or God of the heavenly host. Biblical text does not specifically say when angels were created, but we do know God created them before he created humans. From the book of Job, when God speaks to Job, he shares that his angels witnessed the creation of the foundations of the earth, praising him for his work. This is what was said: "Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you understand. Who marked off its dimensions? Surely you know. Who stretched a measuring line across it? On what were its footings set, or who laid its cornerstone? While the morning stars sang together, and all the angels shouted for joy." You see, by this passage we can conclude that God created the angels just prior to the creation of mankind. Angels are not just messengers, but they are ministering spirits. They worship God around his heavenly throne. They wage in spiritual battle against demonic forces beyond the comprehension of this world. They carry out God's judgment and are intercessors between God and human beings. Angelic encounters are rare or uncommon, but throughout biblical history they are known to visit, interact, and communicate with humans, aiding prophets, saints, and God's people. Here are a few stories from scriptures of how angels protected, communicated, and ministered to his people. In Genesis 19, 2 angels were sent to warn Lot, the nephew of Abraham, to leave the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah with his family before God destroys it. The 2 angels also protected Lot from attackers who surrounded his house by causing them to be blind so that they could not enter the house. In the book of Daniel, an angel saved 3 men in a blazing furnace, and Daniel from the lions in the lion's den. An angel was sent from God to visit Mary, to proclaim to her that she will conceive in her womb a son, whose name as we know it is Jesus. In the birth story of Samson, it's written that the angel of the Lord appeared to Manoah's wife and said, "You have not been able to have children, but you will become pregnant and have a son." The prophet Ezekiel had distinct visions of angels. The same was also documented in the book of Revelation by John himself. These visions were the works of God's heavenly host. As documented, some of these interventions were through visions, prophecies, or through dreams. The underlining of it all is, it is God who makes a decision to direct each angel to do his bidding, not an angel's decision to act independent from God. In many of these encounters, the angels appear as humans. To this very day, they often walk amongst us without us knowing. Hebrews 13:2 says, "Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware." Each angel has its own unique essence, character, and thoughts. As we have free will to choose and control our own course of action, as do angels, they are intelligent creatures with emotions who are empowered to think and act independently. Being in God's supreme presence, their understanding, intelligence, and wisdom is far beyond that of humans. Outside of free will and intelligence, angels are significantly different from humans. They are their own distinct creation and species of God, and they don't exist in the same way we do. They are spiritual beings and have no material existence. Although in various biblical texts they appear in a physical human body and often navigate within this world, they naturally exist in the spiritual realm, outside of this world. They do not experience physical suffering and pain like human beings do, nor do they experience physical death. Humans, on the other hand, have a spirit, but we exist within a physical body, with a soul within the walls of this physical world. And at the end of our lives, through death of the physical body, we will enter the spiritual realm. All angels were created sinless as holy creatures. Unlike humans, we are born with a sinful nature. Romans 5:12 says, "Therefore, just as sin entered the world through one man and death through sin, and in this way death came to all people because all sinned." Most important, humans are created in God's image. Angels were not.